Okay.
Wait a minute. It is now, yeah.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have the most amazing Anne-Marie with me. We are going to be chatting about Anne-Marie's work, my work, what's coming in 2025. And I thought it was appropriate and timeless to bring on these beautiful souls that I know, Anne-Marie being one of them, to share around all these people that have amazing spiritual gifts that maybe have not been known or seen by others. So welcome, Anne-Marie. How are you? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Anne-Marie Seekings. I'm British, but I live in Germany at the moment. I live in Trier in Germany, and I work as a spiritual coach. I also do a lot of hypnosis, reincarnation work, Akashic. Yeah, and I've been doing this for about 10 years now, I would say. Mhm.
Wow, amazing, beautiful. So, I mean, I met you through you coming to do some work with me. I very quickly recognized that you're a very powerful soul, as so many that I work with are. Um, and you have this beautiful, gentle, grounded element around you and what it is that you do. So, you were saying to me earlier, like you have you are a blueprint,
Yeah.
what coordinator,
Translator.
translator.
Translator. Yeah.
Blueprint translator. Do you want to just share a little bit more around that? Because there are a lot of people that some of the stuff I talk about, it goes like it's just so out there, and we need all these different people bridging these topics. So, can you share a little bit more around what that means?
Yeah. Well, every one of us has a blueprint anyway. We bring that with us. Our soul decides during the life that we're in now that we will have a certain blueprint. But the blueprinters, as they are known from the Akashic, are people who have a specific role, and especially in the coming years, the last few years, the last 10 years, and in the coming 5 to 10 years as well. So, blueprinters, there's a variety of them, and I'm the one that's called translator. So, a translator is someone who literally translates concepts, and spiritual concepts can be sometimes not easy to understand. People, oh God, what's she talking about? So that's my job, is to bring that down into, or to break it down in such a way that people can easily understand what's going on and how they can find out more about their own blueprint, why they're here, and what they're supposed to be doing here.
I love that because I'm also speak a lot about the blueprint, and when I look at like the multi-dimensional aspects of self and what we're here doing, we're having a human experience. We're also here with a mission and a purpose, and then we've got our own growth and learning, and then all the people who find us through us the same thing. So it's not just one thing. Often when people ask me, is it fated or is it pre-planned? The answer is actually both. I mean, do we have free will or is everything pre-set out? And your blueprint has quite a big role in that. So I mean, obviously I have delved into these topics myself with my guides, but I'm curious to know, when you say you're a blueprint translator, can you look at someone like me and just immediately know what my blueprint is?
I take in energy. So when I meet someone for the first time, and it doesn't matter whether that's online or in person, I lock into their energy. So I saw you first in a round table with some people that I know. And so that's how I found you, so to speak. And you eluded such an energy that it was, for me, it was just okay. Got to look at her site and went straight onto it, and then booked a session with you. So, and this happened, it happens every day. So yesterday I went to yoga. I've rediscovered yoga in my old age. And the lady who was giving the yoga lesson I've never met before, but she eluded such a beautiful, calming, um, golden energy. It was amazing, and the class was just amazing because of her, you know. And then there were only 4 people in it, and there's often 20 in there. So I was going, wow, that's a big one for today. So that's what I feel the energy. And then I start to delve a little bit more into um, what's stopping that person being the best version of themselves. That's usually what we start off with, you know.
Love that. I love that. So it's an intuitive knowing around the person's energy. They well, basically their signature and or what I like to call their constitution. So you
Yeah,
actually have a base sound wave to you that's unique expression to you. Everyone has it. That's we can call it a signature, a constitution. So you're actually really tapping into that, into their unique expression that can express well does express as sound and light and codes.
yeah,
Very, very, very cool. Because I think the days of people, for me personally, of people wanting to go to a psychic to know their future, I feel that that is a really done thing, and it defeats the purpose of what we're coming here to do, which is pull back all of our fragmented aspects, go into where we're holding the limiting beliefs programs, and come really now into the now moment and let go of the control. So wanting to know the future and wanting to know, all of these things is it's still an aspect or an element of coming from fear because you need to know through control how to navigate. And when
yeah,
we come really back into this present space and into this now moment, and we merge and collapse and bridge the past versions of us, the future versions of us, the current versions of us, all into the now, that's where the true alchemy and power sits. So I love what you're saying because you're actually helping people understand a very deep aspect of themselves so that they can then be empowered to move forward. And you know what we all could do with a little bit of help along the way. I mean, no one is immune. That's what we are supposed to be doing together.
yeah.
Very, very cool. And so you also do retreats. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I work obviously on a one-to-one basis, whether online or in presence, that doesn't matter. On all the things that I do, I can do online. So I do hypnosis online, I do reincarnation therapy online as well. But I love retreats because it gives people the chance to just get out of their daily life. And often our 3D reality pulls us down. You know, we're humans, as you say, so we've got bills to pay, we've got children to bring to school, we've got a husband that we're not really getting on with very well. All these things pull us down and stop us meeting that part of ourselves. You call it the higher self. That tells us that is a pure intuition that lets us know what's best for us and what things we should be doing, decisions we should be making. So I find that the retreats, I take them out of that daily 3D and go to lovely places with them. And, there's either some sun and water there, or there's a lot of sacred sites, which always have an amazing energy. And people just transform within a week. It only takes a week, and then they go back completely different people. So that is really amazing. I love doing that. And I do offer quite a lot of different retreats in different countries. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get you because I do feel sometimes to reset, we need to come into a group where, and it's about container holding, right? So you're holding that container, same thing I do in a session for people to meet themselves deeply. It's about container holding that space for people to actually breathe, let go, get into themselves, out of the mundane. And when someone holds that container right, it is very, very powerful. So I actually I've had some visions of potentially doing retreats in South Africa. Maybe you and I we should collab
Yeah.
on something because it's also a very powerful space. Just the energy and the ley lines in South Africa. But I've always kind of seen a potential retreats in the bush. We have like the big five, so going somewhere It's very, very beautiful, the bush.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I know I've told you this before, but my daughter goes to South Africa every single year. She's getting ready to go again at the beginning of February. So I've been twice and stayed with her while she's been there. And yes, there is an amazing energy there. And it's that energy that sort of boosts people up, you know. So if they come to us for an hour and we do our stuff or we hold that container for them, but often it needs a little bit more than that.
Yeah, yeah.
Giving them that space and to be in a place that's so full of energy just boosts them up completely. When we get off the plane, when I go to Kefalonia, it's one of my retreats, people start to cry when they get off the plane. It's just that, wow, what's going on here energy. And yeah, I'm sure that would be definitely a good thing for you in the future, offering retreats there. Yeah.
Yeah, what was just coming to me now while you were talking about it is that with a retreat, it's incredibly resetting because of the time frame. But more than that, being in these groups of people that have all got really good high intentions. I mean, I find that like with the membership that you're part of, even though the membership is a small group, the souls are so amazing. So it creates this safe soul family where it's safe to express and to feel and to be completely authentic. And I don't even think most people are walking around realizing that they're not being authentic. I think they're just
Yeah.
used to
Yeah.
playing a specific role. And so when you get this group of people together that all have the same intentions, wanting to be their best version, wanting to grow, wanting to deepen their connection, wanting to step into their missions and purpose, even the Bible talks about it, prayer and numbers being powerful. Um,
Yeah.
and that's also what I feel around planetary work. Like when we work in groups or when we do something in the membership where we all focusing an intention of healing and love towards the planet, it's much more amplified than if I do it on my own. Um, and I do think we're moving in our world on Gaia towards a space. You know, a lot of us have been in that hermit dark night of the soul, and it's been many years of having to do the inner work, which we will always continue to do because it's so layered, um, to get to the point where I see in the future, it's going to be so much around community. And at the moment, a lot of that has to be online, but I think it's definitely going to shift over the next couple of years. And retreats are huge, significant part of soul family coming together. So I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I think group work is really important because in a one-to-one situation, you've got me and I've got the client. But in a group, you've got, there's usually 7 or 8 people who come. I don't do big retreats. I don't do retreats with 30, 40 people because I can't look after them properly. Um, and people don't realize how much energy they have themselves. That
Powerful.
is really so powerful to be able to show them how much energy they actually have themselves. And then, if things really start to rocket when people like that come together and help each other, and everyone wants to help the next person. Really, really powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. And I think we're going to just see more and more and more of people finding each other. I mean, I work with people around the world. You do the same. So we will be moving into a point where I've seen timelines or futures of us actually being physically together. And we're not attached to when that happens or how that
Yeah.
happens. I think there will be a financial freedom actually for a lot of the star seeds coming up soon. So, just talking about your work and my work and all of these beautiful things that we do, it really is, and as we were saying earlier, around how we can be in service for those on the journey and the path. Because, let's look a little bit at 2025. We've got a big inauguration coming up, and we were just chatting about all the stuff that's come up in England, the disclosure around the gang rapes. So, you know, I think there is a little bit of trepidation from people and a little bit of there was a big excitement about moving into 2025, and the energy just feels a little bit what's going to happen, and how can we bring through support and tools for people to stay really maintained and focused and and in peace and calm within themselves, because this is the time. 2025 is really, or 2024 moving into it, that disclosure is just going to ramp up and ramp up and ramp up. And there's also going to be a super huge amount of misinformation. So, how can we help people for them to figure out within themselves what's truth, what's not truth, and how to navigate staying in a space of a high frequency despite what's happening outside of their in their external environment.
Well, as I said at the beginning, a lot of people who come to see me are at the beginning of their journey, so there's often a lot of fear still. They're attached to a lot of fear. They don't change their lives because of that fear. So I think the most important thing we can do is to, if we still have fears in any aspects of our life, whatever that is, that we work on those, because we're going to have to stay really grounded in the next couple of years. And we're not grounded if there's any kind of fear blocking us. So, often people have fears in their root chakra, which stops them being grounded. So yeah, that would be my stance on that, is that if there's anything that you're still afraid of, because things outside are going to really start ramping up, um, then work on that. Find someone that you can work on those fears with, first of all. Once you've done that, if you're on your journey or you've been on your journey for a long time, sometimes there's fears from past lives that are still blocking you, whatever it is that stops you reaching that level where you can discern
Mm.
who's telling the truth and who isn't, who's telling half truths, who's
Oh, lots of half truths out there, lots of muddled
yeah,
waters.
muddled waters. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Um, yeah, it's interesting because a lot of what I do also is looking at the subconscious fears. I mean, any negative emotion actually comes down to fear. If you're angry, there's a fear. If you are jealous, there's a fear. If you are, there's multiple I could go into, but the fear thing 100% is the ego's way of trying to protect us, right? And so what we're trying to do is move beyond that into our space of alchemy and mastery, which is that you actually are the creator. And this is a thing I'm going to be working with a lot this year around the creator energy. Um, but you cannot create when you're holding that, because it has a vibration, it has a sine wave, it has um, a tone to it, and the fear is really something that really, really, really messes with the frequency that you're emitting. So your original constitution. So even if you don't think you're afraid of something, if something, and this is what I just want to keep encouraging people, if something pops into your reality that triggers you, so you have a negative emotional response, if you stop and you ask, what am I learning from this? What is this teaching me about me? Because even if someone does something really shitty to you, if you're not holding that belief system in you, it's like water for duck back or ducks back. If someone accuses you of something, or um, speaks badly behind your back, if you're not holding fear within you around, which could be a belief that I'm not actually good enough, or I am this bad person, or all of those
Yeah.
things, it's not even going to bother you. And then then there's no power of you. And that's how we become sovereign. And this is why this inner work, looking at the subconscious, looking at the past, looking what's going on outside of the mental body into the cellular somatic body, because your body holds the memory even more than the mind knows about on a conscious level. I feel like this is one of the most powerful things in being able to connect to your higher self, in being able to discern, and in being able to live in peace, love, bliss, and joy, despite some people might be experiencing a sort of Armageddon type of timeline.
Mm.
This is the bifurcation. So I love, love, love that you do that, because that is actually what it all comes down to. That is sovereignty, moving beyond the fears and using every single experience that we have to ask ourselves, what is this teaching me? What am I
Mm.
learning? What is this
Mm.
telling me about me?
Yeah. As soon as anything triggers you, have a really good look at why it's triggering you. And if you don't know about triggers, then that would be the first place to start.
A
Belief
negative
systems,
emotional response to anything
yeah,
externally.
any negative response that is below the, that has nothing to do with love or peace or, feeling that way. And there are so many people, Freya, that are not at that level yet, and I'm not putting myself on a pedestal in any way, but think that fears are normal.
No.
We're all fearful. Yeah, we're
So
all fearful.
it doesn't, also to clarify, it doesn't mean just because you're doing the work around your own triggers that if someone does do something that's not nice to you or has a negative energy towards you and you're triggered by it, you look at your own stuff in it, you actually neutralize the shadow. That's integration of the shadow by looking at it, being aware of it. Am I acting like this? Am I holding that? Change my behavior. And then the power that that trigger has over you, that negative emotion, actually just dissipates. That's the integration process. But that doesn't mean that because we love and light, we have to just allow people in our world and in our reality we can love from afar. We can say, okay, so it's not about being boundaryless. So we can just tolerate all of these negative things. Actually, going on the spiritual path and doing the inner work, your circle generally becomes really small
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
what you're working at putting out a very pure loving output, and so you need that back around you physically, and not everyone's there. So it's okay to have boundaries. I mean, when I started my path, my circle went from big and lots of having a good party and superficial conversations to like just very small.
Mini. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, I think, where people also sometimes get a bit stuck on the journey as well. I've got to be the bigger person and let it go. No, 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 we do not. It's got to be people in your life that can match where your frequency is, because it does. Consciousness is meeting up with each other. You've got an electromagnetic field, you're emitting, and as you're doing the inner work, you're getting closer and closer to your constitutional sine wave, to your energetic signature, to the true source signature that's within you. And so it's raising and raising and raising, and like must meet like, because if you have someone come into your field that is of a much lower vibration, it's going to have an impact. There is an energetic residue that comes through into your field. So I hope that makes sense what I was saying. I went on a bit of a tangent there. But I do see that some of these things can also get misunderstood along the way when you're on this path of we have to be all love and light, and yes, within ourselves. But that is why anyone who walks into your field or into your world that triggers you is actually a teacher. It's a gift. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
they have to be your best friend or you have to spend loads of time with them.
Yeah, exactly. I think we will be triggered as long as there's still things that we need to work on personally. Yeah. Otherwise, those people wouldn't be triggering us and wouldn't be in our lives, basically. So, yeah, it's all about what has it got to do with me and not about what has it got to do with other people. Yeah, that's theirs and mine is mine.
Yeah.
Um, and that is, we're talking about people sometimes who come to see me for the first time. These are concepts that they've never heard before. It's all to do with me. And I was saying, well,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that? No, it's my husband that's the baddie, and I'm, and I'm the goodie. So yeah, sometimes we have to really go back to basics, and I think that is the most important thing for the next years. That there's going to be so many people asking questions and wanting to find out more about themselves, the blueprints, how they can remove things from their lives that don't fit, are not a good match for them anymore. That is really going to accelerate in the next couple of years. That's my feeling anyway.
I do see 2025 as being quite a big year of alternative health. So people looking outside of big pharma, traditional
Yeah,
psychology, et cetera, and looking into and health, emotional health, physical health, spiritual health being big topics for 2025.
Mm.
So I guess we're in the right work then, girl.
Yeah.
Following our blueprints, going through all the trials and tribulations, all the lessons, all the hardships, so that we can then be in service to others. How cool is that?
Yeah, I mean, my journey started fairly late. I was in my mid 40s before I sort of I don't know, it all went a bit high wire, mostly because my daughter became ill when I was in my mid 40s, seriously ill. Um, and so it's never too late, you know. People in their 60s, 70s, 80s, you can still completely change your life if you want to. I did it in my mid 40s, and I've been on that journey ever since. So please, that's my calling. You know, if you're unhappy in any way, if you're fearful in any way, then find someone to help you because that is not our natural identity.
No, it's not. It's something that really has been programmed into us since birth, and that's why you see humans being nasty to each other, because it's all coming from fear and that needing to protect self, and that's the ego. And the ego had its place because it hasn't been a safe planet for a long time. We're not going to go into it now, but we could talk about the hijack of the system and the dark structure, but there are layers to it. I just think if people start with just understanding self, turning the lens inwards. I mean, I was triggered in December. It didn't last very long. I was triggered for a couple of hours, and then I was like, wait. What's going on in me? I think I spoke about it to you the other
Mm.
day. And the minute I recognized, just turned the lens inwards and it wasn't about the external, it just dissipated completely. And then I could be, okay, yeah, I'm now in love again. And it's so powerful. And I think I don't know how many spiritual people share that vulnerability. Just because people like you and I have been on this path, we teach around this path, it doesn't mean that we don't have our own stuff that comes up. We do. None of us, I always say we're on the path to self-actualization, but we're not 100% there yet. We're going to spend this lifetime mastering that. If we're fully self-actualized, fully self-realized, we would be able to levitate and
And off we would
my
go.
God,
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
ascended.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's also, I'm sure you use it in your work too. I use a lot of my own experience to and growth to teach and help people around. And coming back to blueprints, mine being very much around me teaching and bringing forth information based on my personal experience. And that's not for everyone. We are all very different and we need different people with different techniques and different levels of understanding and information. So I think people also just really need to um, follow what resonates for them. So if you see
Yeah.
someone, you see Anne Marie, she's amazing. I'm going to put her website below the in the comment box. So if you see her and she resonates, like get in touch and follow that where your heart is leading you, because the heart is the key
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. That's what I always say to people who are in my community. Always recommend other people. If someone resonates with you, that's the way to go. If you see someone you think, yeah, I want to learn more about that person, then that is the way you should go. It can be quite difficult because there's a lot of people who are spiritual coaches, for a better word. Um, and this is all about feeling into your heart and feeling whether you can create a bond with that person or not, because that's, for me, is what it's all about. It's a definite one-to-one bond with a person. This is not about psychology or going to a psychotherapist or anything like that. It's about you feeling a soul-to-soul bond. And
Yeah.
you'll know that. You'll feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's soul to soul and letting the heart lead. So this is also a big a journey of opening the heart and um I work a lot with geometry, light and sound in able to activate. So when I see it come through, I see the codes that come through the sound. So when people open up through their visualization, their third eye, their pineal gland, and they move into that state of the neutral observer, into the 0 point. There are so many beautiful codes available in all these different ways to release. Basically what we're doing is we're releasing the stagnation, we're releasing the lower, the layered process of negative experience that has built up the ego, built up the fears in order to protect. We're releasing that, and as we release that, we just open the heart further, open the heart further. So it's a beautiful process, but it hasn't been an easy road for many on the path, because we do need, on the flip side of the coin is we do need, and part of being on planet Earth is having polarity and those tough experiences, because they are very powerful catalysts for accelerated warp speed growth.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
always like, when I see someone's going through a hard time, I'm like, I have so much compassion for you, but yay!
You're on your way.
You're on
Yeah.
your way. You're on your
Yeah.
way. Uh,
Good.
awesome. So, anything you want to wrap up with around 2025? What you're feeling into? Any tools to help people around 2025?
I think we've covered most topics. I think that really, again, I'll just repeat probably what I've said already is if you're not feeling 100% grounded, and that's a way that we can always feel into that, then start to look more inwards. If you're ill, if you've got some kind of chronic illness, that's often a sign that you've lived with fairly negative emotions for a long, long time. All these things, all these signs that make life difficult, then think about looking around who you resonate with, who can help you, who can support you. And yeah, thank you very, very much for inviting me today. And yeah, love you to bits.
It's such a pleasure, and it's so nice to that I can just get online and have chats with beautiful souls such as yourself. And whoever's meant to find you will find you and come and work with you, and the same as me. And that we can just have conversations that hopefully are very uplifting for people and inspiring for people at the end of the day. So thank you for joining me today. I love you to the moon
Yep.
and back. I'm going to post all your information below. So check out beautiful Anne Marie Seeking's website and her beautiful offerings. And I'm sure we'll do a follow-up. If there's any questions, pop them in the comments.
Mhm.
And I'm going to
Um, just a little aside, the website is in German, but you can get it translated into English. I'm working on an English website at the moment, but it's not ready yet.
awesome. Okay, so translate the
Just get
German.
it translated. Just get AI to translate it for you.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm sending you lots of love, and
Yeah,
we'll chat again soon. Have a beautiful day to everybody, and
yeah.
bye.